Hey, good evening. This is Frater Ralph with Hermetic Temple Radio. And I'm doing kind of a extra broadcast tonight, just kind of curious actually, out of curiosity. On my Spreaker account, I know I'm only paying for 3 hours of broadcasting time, and it looks like they're giving me an extra 179 minutes. So I don't know if that's like a Christmas bonus. I guess I need to start reading my emails. But I'm just going to use it. So thank you, Spreaker, for the extra bonus. And tonight, this evening, I am going to be talking a little bit about Metta Meditation. And Metta Meditation is also known as loving kindness meditation. It is a form of meditation that allows us to concentrate on cultivating love and compassion and caring in our life. And this is really important because, in our culture, I think we don't really think about love that much. We more or less think that, love is for poets, and if love is going to happen, it just comes around and mysteriously wraps its arms around us and just sweeps us off of our feet. But actually, in spirituality, at least in my school of spirituality, my spiritual thought, love is a discipline. It's an energy vibration that we have to focus on in order for it to grow. And there is a spiritual truth that what you focus on, what you care about, what you invest your energy in, that is what is going to grow in your life. The principle of caring, principle of love, principle of compassion, however you wish to view it. Whatever you focus on the most, that is what is going to grow in your life. And so why not focus on love? Why not focus on unconditional compassion, loving kindness, and all that good stuff? Because, in our world today, what do we see? I don't think I really have to go into that very much. You turn on the news, turn on your television, it's just one disaster after another. And clearly, I think we live in a world that desperately needs love and understanding and compassion. And if we are to become ambassadors of love, we have to work on developing that love in our lives. And I don't think we can really emphasize this point strongly enough. We need to work on becoming more loving, more compassionate people if we want to live in a world that is a world based on love rather than fear and hatred and hurt and just one catastrophe after another. What we focus on grows. And what I'm going to speak on here tonight, this will not be a guided meditation. What this will be is a guide that you can use to craft your own meditation with. Guided meditations are great, and there's many guided meditations out there. But if we are to be free, spiritual individuals growing along our own spiritual path, according to our own light and our own understanding, we have to break free of the habit of just following guided meditations. When you're first learning how to meditate, a guided meditation is very helpful. And even if you've been meditating for years and you want to learn a new form of meditation, then yes, occasionally, using a guided meditation is good, but some people just get into a habit that they need somebody to guide them. And in my philosophy, I want to help people to become their own guide. Don't look to other people. Don't look to other human beings. Guides are good to get you started off on your path, but ultimately we have to focus on spirit and let spirit, as we understand it, be our guide. One of the teachings of Jesus that I resonate with is call no one on earth teacher, for you have one teacher within, even the Christ. And that's the way I'm going to focus on this tonight, is not really giving a guided meditation, but just giving you some of the tools in crafting your own form of metta meditation, to where you can just sit down and either for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 2 hours if you would like, do your own form of this wonderful loving kindness meditation. And in between segments, this being the Christmas season, I'm going to go ahead and play some Christmas carols. Going to start off with this one now, Good King Wenceslaus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we're going to play this Christmas carol, and then we'll be right back with Metta Meditation, kind of a guide to crafting your own form of loving kindness meditation. Well, that was a little different than what I expected it to be. But that was nice. And so let's just go on with Metta Meditation. And meditation is important because, as I said in the beginning, what you focus on grows. And most people will focus on this, that, and the other thing without really thinking about it. Folks that have experienced childhood traumas, and I notice this in adult children of alcoholics, they will be wounded, of course, in childhood, being raised with an alcoholic and oftentimes abusive parent or parents, depending on their situation. And they'll tend to grow up thinking that, this is normal. And in their life, they'll tend to just naturally focus on the negative. And if something's going good in their life, they'll just subconsciously be just waiting for something bad to happen, because that was their their conditioning in childhood, growing up in an abusive household. Things would be good for only a short period of time, and then something bad was just bound to happen. And I used to go out with a girl in college who was in that situation, grew up in an alcoholic family. And that's the way she was. And anytime I tried to be nice, give her something, something a little extra just because, she always thought, okay, what bad thing is going to happen now? And she just couldn't accept good things in her life. And other people can be that way too, without having been raised, in the alcoholic family type scenario. Some folks are like that, I don't know, just because. And when we focus on the negative, whether we focus on the negative consciously or just subconsciously, that is what we're going to attract into our life. And if we want to attract something better into our life, we have to work at it. We really have to focus ourselves on attracting the good. And in Metta Meditation, we are given the opportunity to focus on love, to focus on care, to focus on compassion, and to set aside a few minutes of our day to just actively feel love within our hearts, within our souls, within our very being. And to get started off in Metta Meditation, like any other form of meditation, you find a nice, quiet place and just get comfortable. Be seated, work on your breathing, breathe in through your nose, breathe in fully, deeply, and then breathe out fully and deeply, and just get into a relaxed frame of mind. And then one helpful technique, and this is recommended by one of my favorite teachers, Ajahn Brahm, is to visualize, or just in your imagination, pretend that you are holding a cat or a dog or some other favorite small cuddly animal. And if you have a physical cat or a physical dog that can be a good meditation buddy, you can go ahead and just invite the real thing right onto your lap. I used to have 2 little Shih Tzus that were both great meditation buddies. They would just cuddle up on my lap while I was meditating. How it all started is I would sit down and I would meditate, and the dog would just jump up on my lap, curl up, and sit with me, and I'd put my arms around it and just sit in a relaxed, comfortable meditation position with my arms around the dog. And the dogs would just stay with me. And both have sadly passed away since that time. This has been like 10 years ago. But if you have such an animal, a dog or a cat that can remain silent and sit in your lap for an hour without causing you discomfort, then you might try crafting your own form of metta meditation using, such a pet. And if you don't have such an animal, then, don't try to train them to do that. It's that can be kind of tricky. But what you can do too, if you want something to hold, if you want something to cuddle, you can use like a pillow. Pillows are good to hug, and sometimes, you need to just hug something. If you don't have someone, then, a pillow can be a nice substitute, or even a teddy bear. And, don't be self-conscious about how silly this may sound or how silly this is going to work. I mean, it's going to look. What we're concentrating on is how it's going to work for you. And if you want to kind of work on bringing more love into your life and you feel like being a hugger, a little pillow or a little teddy bear, if you don't have a small animal, can be a wonderful little tool to use. But whether you're imagining having the cat or the dog in your mind, or having a teddy bear or a pillow in your arms, just go ahead and focus. Focus your love energy and feel the sense of love flowing from your heart and into that pet, that cat, that dog, or just pretend that the teddy bear is a small animal that needs your love and your attention. And just focus on how wonderful it is to have something, perhaps someone, to show love and care to, and someone to give your love and your attention to. And just focus on providing, nurturing, that being with love and being there for that being. And just feel the love in your heart and just let yourself go with that feeling. And at this point, if you're hugging a pillow or you're hugging a teddy bear or petting your dog or petting a cat, just feel how relaxing that is, how good that feels. In this beginning part of Metta Meditation, we focus on the touchy-feely, positive side, good side of love. Love can be a two-edged sword. Sometimes it feels good, and sometimes it hurts. And for the beginning part of Metta Meditation, we're going to concentrate on the good and just focus that positive, loving kindness energy within our being. And just settle in and go with that. And you may choose in your meditation to just stay at that point for however long you desire. You can be cuddling your cat, be cuddling your dog, whether real or imaginary, for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. If you want to just stay in that pleasant present moment, then you can. And that is pretty much one form of metta meditation in and of itself, is just cultivate that love in your heart. Now, you also have the option of going deeper, and you can extend your feeling of loving kindness to other beings. You can sit and imagine your friends and your family and feel how wonderful it is to have friends to share your life with, to have people in your life that you can trust, to have family in your life that love you and whom you can love in return. And just think in your mind, you may even choose to name them each individually. I love you, and I wish you peace. I wish you awakening. I wish that you be happy and content and at peace. And just go with that And just again, feel a sense of love. And also you can feel a sense of gratitude and cultivate that. Gratitude for being given the gift of friendship, of family, having more than just an imaginary dog or a cat. You actually have other people, other beings in your life too, besides the dog and the cat. And just feel grateful that you have the gift of those people. And after you've gone into that stage of the meditation, you can extend outwards. You can think of all the people out there that do not have friends, that do not have family, people who are pretty much on their own, alone during this time of year. And send positive energy out to those people. And you can focus in the words of the Metta Sutta by the Buddha, may all beings be happy and content. May all beings be well. And just send out a silent blessing to all the people out there. You may even know a few people, have some neighbors or some acquaintances or co-workers that just don't seem to have anybody in their life that they can trust. And send positive energy their way. And just say, I love you. I want you to be well. I want you to be whole. And I want you to be at peace. And those are the positive steps of metta meditation. Starting out with something fairly easy. A cat, a dog, a small animal that just naturally is a love magnet. And then going out to your friends and to your family. And then from there radiating out to acquaintances and perhaps total strangers, but people who do not have love in their life. And just focusing on becoming a channel of love and a channel of compassion, a font of compassion through which the divine energy of love can flow like water out into a desert. You can be a channel of grace, a channel of love to other people who are desperately in need of this. And then if you choose, you can go a little bit deeper. Before we take that next step, I'm going to play another Christmas carol, Angels We Have Heard on High, and then we'll be back with part 2 of our broadcast. All right, in part one of our Metta Meditation guide, we focus on the easy uh, aspects of love and compassion, the warm and fuzzies, if you will. The pet dog, the pet cat, the teddy bear, a pillow that you can hug perhaps, friends and family, people you like, people you love, and people who love you back. And then from there we began to branch out a little bit more, away from our familiar circle of, loving pets and loving friends and loving family, to reach out emotionally and psychically, as it were, to people who lack these things, the people who feel like they are without friends, without family, people who just need love in their life, but they don't know where to turn to receive that. And now in part two, we're going to build on that a little bit more. We're going to reach out again, but instead of reaching out to the people that we love and the people who love us back, we're going to try to cultivate loving kindness in the form of forgiveness by reaching out spiritually to folks who have wronged us in the past. And before I go on any further, I'd like to emphasize that this is not a mandatory step. If you are not comfortable doing this in your own practice of meditation, don't feel like you have to in order to become, a spiritually mature person. I personally believe that forgiveness is one of the greatest spiritual salves that we can use to heal ourselves, to feel better about ourselves, and to also heal others, but primarily to heal ourselves. But I know that there are some people out there who have been so seriously harmed and so wronged by other people that they feel that forgiveness for their attacker or for the person who has done them harm is just not something they can do. I've known people that been seriously wounded at the hands of other people, and for them, just not killing the person seems like a major step for them, and forgiving them just doesn't work. They don't feel that they can forgive, at least not yet. And sometimes, forgiveness is not easy. It's beautiful when it happens, but it's not something that I think we can force. When it happens because we have reached a certain spiritual level where we are able to put the past behind us and no longer focus on the past misdeed and just focus on forgiveness so we can heal ourselves and move on. But if you haven't reached that state, then don't go there. Focus on the dog, the cat, the friends and the family, and the strangers who are in need of love. And for the time being, let that be your metta meditation. But if you feel that you are ready to allow loving kindness into your life and allowing your love to grow in the form of forgiveness, then you can take this next step in your meditation, is imagine someone who has wronged you in the past, and don't focus on the harm that they did. but rather just say in your heart, I let this go. I release this past pain. And I forgive this person for the wrong that they have done. And you can go further, and if you honestly believe this, don't lie to yourself. Don't say things in your heart that aren't true. But if you honestly feel that you can say this, then say within your heart, I realize that what you did is what you did because you yourself were sick. You yourself were not well mentally or spiritually, and for whatever reason that you harmed me, I forgive you, and I let that go. And I practice forgiveness in this case. And I think at this point it's wise to just give a little talk on what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. A lot of people think that forgiving somebody gives them a free pass, lets them off the hook, and gives them a free pass to hurt you all over again. And the practice of forgiveness is not the practice of allowing yourself to be used as a doormat, and certainly it's not to be used to allow yourself to be used as a punching bag. Forgiveness is you recognize that you've been harmed. You are willing to let that go. But at the same time, if the person who harmed you has not reached the state of maturity where they are sorry for what they have done, and where they have not grown out of that negative state where they were when they inflicted the harm upon you, and they might still be dangerous, or they might still be harmful to whatever extent to you or to others, then by all means, do not put yourself in a position where they can hurt you anymore. But at the same time, harbor no ill will towards them. And that's the tricky part. That is, we love to love the people who love us, and we love to hate the people who hate us and who have wronged us. And there is a beautiful teaching in a first century document that came out of the early Jesus movement before it was even called Christianity. And that document is called the Didache. And the teaching goes like this: bless those who curse you, love those who hate you, fast for those who have persecuted you. And in Metta Meditation, what we can do is we can use it as an opportunity to let go of past hurts and to pray for those who have wronged us in the past. And again, we don't place ourselves in a position where they can hurt us any further, but we just pray, if you will, or work spiritually so that they may be healed of whatever soul sickness it is that caused them to behave in a dangerous and harmful way, or just in a way that hurt our feelings. Before, when I gave the example of a child that was raised in an alcoholic household, the alcoholic parent does not belittle the child or harm the child because they're evil. Believe it or not, they do it because they're sick. And they need help. They don't know they need help. They think the alcohol is the only help that they need, and they drink, they get drunk, they get dangerous, and they do things that they would not normally do in their right frame of mind. And we can become drunk on more things than just alcohol. We can become drunk on emotion. We can become drunk on rage. We can become drunk even on self-righteousness. And a lot of times when people hurt other people, it's not because they're evil. Yes, there is evil in the world. There are evil people in the world. But 9 times out of 10, when a person behaves in a harmful manner, it's not because they're evil. It's because they're weak. It's because they're spiritually sick and they need healing. And in this form of Metta Meditation, if you care to go down this route and go a little bit deeper in this form of meditation, you can actually ask for spiritual healing to be given to these people who have wronged you in the past and who need spiritual healing. And just give them a silent blessing and wish them well. There is another Buddhist scripture that goes, "May those who have harmed me become the recipient of an awakening." And like the Gospels say, the early teachings of the Didache, bless those who curse you. This is a way of trying to overcome evil with good without placing yourself in a position of danger. We can forgive people, we can love people who have harmed us, but we don't have to put ourselves in a position where we can be hurt a second or third or 10th time. Self-preservation is a rational thing too. Love and forgiveness is good, but you have to take care of yourself as well. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to love too many other people. So that's that word on forgiveness. And if you want to go that far, then yes, in your Metta Meditation, consider the people who have harmed you in the past or wronged you in the past. And I'd recommend starting off with the small stuff. The little personal grudges, maybe somebody that wronged you in a business deal or something like that. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, then go ahead and think about the other people who have committed serious wrongs. Not so serious that you don't feel comfortable forgiving them. Because while I think forgiveness is a wonderful healing salve, not everybody is ready to forgive every transgression. And if you don't honestly feel it, then don't try to do it. Don't kid yourself. Don't delude yourself. Only attempt this if you feel you're ready. And some folks have been wronged so seriously, so severely, that they've said to me, I can never forgive that person. And I'm not saying you have to. But definitely leave the door open to maybe someday being able to go down that route. I'm going to go ahead and play another song, and then we're going to wrap this up and call it a night. Okay, our third step into Metta Meditation. Okay, we've had the dog or the cat, and then the friends and the family and the people that need love but have never harmed us, and then thinking about people in our past who have harmed us. Now the next step, if you want to go a little bit deeper, if you feel that you are ready for it, or you even care to do it, is to consider your current enemies, folks that you currently disagree with. And again, send out positive energy to them. In spiritual and religious groups, and just in our own modern contemporary culture, we naturally tend to love people who love us. And we love our friends. We love our friends when they love us back. The deeper part of that teaching, there is a teaching that goes, love your friends as you love yourself. And there's a deeper part of that, and that's reflected in the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus. Love your enemies. You'll love your neighbor as you love yourself, and love your enemies as you love yourself. And that is not easy. That is not as pleasant. And some folks may not be ready for that. So I just throw that out as perhaps a challenge or a goal if you want to grow a little bit more deeply in love. Practice forgiveness for those who have wronged you within the past few days or even within the last few hours. Now again, forgiveness in this way does not naturally mean that you're going to rush over to them and throw your arms around them and say, oh, you hurt me, but I forgive you. You can do that if you like, if they don't pose a physical threat to you. Now, if they do pose a physical threat to you, like a few years ago when the Pope suffered an assassination attempt. He got shot, and he recovered, and he forgave the man that shot him. And he actually did. He actually went into the prison after he had recovered from the gunshot wound and chatted with the man and prayed with the man. And it was all just pretty impressive how the pontiff could forgive this man who tried to kill him just a few weeks previously. But, he didn't walk up to the man and hug him and give him a gun and said, here, take another shot at me. No, he did it in a safe environment where they were supervised, there were guards, and the Pope was not placing himself in any further danger by offering, his gift of forgiveness. A gift of forgiveness that was to himself as well as to the man that he was forgiving. And with us, that's what I recommend. If you want to practice forgiveness, do it in a safe manner. Don't go back to a person who is going to physically abuse you or harm you or let them harm you all over again. Forgive the wrong that they did, but don't open yourself up to further harm. We can practice self-defense and self-preservation without allowing hatred to rule us or anger to rule us. And in forgiveness, we set aside that anger and we let it go. But we also keep our head and we say, okay, this person has harmed us. This person has harmed me. And I can let go of that anger. I can let go of my rage. I can move on in my life. But again, I am not going to put myself in a position where this person can harm me any further. And we can also bear in mind, like I said earlier, 9 times out of 10, people who harm other people do so because they are weak, not because they are wicked, because they are spiritually soul sick, and they just lash out. By sending thoughts of love, the vibration, the energy of love, towards these people in a metaphysical sense, hugging them in your mind, not in the physical world, but sending out energy of love, we can aid in the transformation of these people without placing ourselves in danger. We can leave the door open to the possibility that these people, as wicked as they once were, may have the capacity for great change. One spiritual truth that we see in the gospel stories about Jesus and in the stories about Buddha and other, Buddhist saints and Christian saints, is how these spiritual giants were willing to work with tax collectors and zealots and revolutionaries and prostitutes, and just go to people whom the religious folks of their day considered to be the scum of the earth. And they would show love and patience and compassion to these people and think, you have the ability to transcend your lower nature and become someone far better, far greater. And the early stories of Buddhist and Christian saints working with thieves and working with prostitutes and just working with the scum of the earth are just filled with stories of seemingly evil and wicked people who just suddenly changed and transformed and turned their life around because somebody like a Buddha or a Christ or just a person who excelled in the discipline of love was willing to say, you have the capacity to change if you want to. And I am going to leave the door open. I'm not going to think in my mind, once a thief, always a thief. Once a scoundrel, always a scoundrel. But I am going to leave the door open to the possibility that anyone can be reformed and that anyone can transform themselves with a little bit of help, with a little bit of positive energy being sent their way, and a little help from above. So if you want to do this, consider your current enemies and send them out that same positive energy, leaving the door open to the possibility that they can change, that they can become better people, and wish for them peace, wish for them the ability to change and to transform, to better themselves for their own good and also for the good of other people like you that they've interacted with in the past and have harmed, that they don't harm any more people any further. And just practice that loving kindness to friend and to foe alike. One of the teachings, again, from the Didache is that you shall love all and you shall not have an enemy. And again, I don't take that as meaning that you're going to allow yourself to be used either as a doormat or as a punching bag by these people. Now, one of the other teachings of Jesus is, I send you out as sheep into the midst of wolves. Therefore be clever as serpents, but innocent as doves. Use your brains. Be clever as serpents, but at the same time, don't inflict harm unnecessarily. Be innocent as a dove. And if at any point that you are practicing your Metta Meditation and you get into the more difficult part of the meditation, working on forgiveness, if that's not something that you have mastered yet, or you're really working on a difficult person that has seriously harmed you, and instead of feeling love and compassion and forgiveness and unconditional compassion, if instead of that you begin to feel rage and anger and you just feel the old hurts coming back, let go of that memory, let go of that emotion, dismiss it, and feel perfectly free to go back to that dog or that cat or that imaginary dog or cat or that teddy bear and just hug the stuffings out of it and just focus again on that easy form of love, that easy form of compassion. The more difficult forms of love and compassion, not everyone is ready for yet. Some people are, some people aren't. So if you try to go that extra mile and practice forgiveness, especially when it comes to somebody who has harmed you seriously, and you just feel anger instead of compassion, then yeah, just focus on the dog or the cat or the teddy bear and stay with that teddy bear or that cat for a little while and just let yourself remain at that stage. And then later, within a few days, a few months, or for some folks maybe even a few years, go back again, revisit that concept of forgiveness, and try once more to honestly forgive that person that you've had trouble forgiving in the past. This isn't an easy task. This is the work of a lifetime. And we don't expect anyone to be able to master this or to become a second Buddha or a second Jesus within a few hours, maybe even not in this current lifetime. So do what you are able to do when it comes to building loving kindness in your life, and try to do better. And if you can't practice loving kindness to everyone unconditionally, don't dwell on it. Do what you can, try to progress, and that will be good enough for now. So, I think that's about it. I'm going to play one more song. This one, I think it's another collection. I Saw Three Ships, and then we're going to close out on this. Thanks for tuning in. And if something that I've said kind of resonates with you and you would like to talk further, you can contact me using the email link that's in the program description, hermetictemple@gmail.com. And just go ahead and drop me an email, and we can chit-chat through the email. And if you'd like to talk on the phone, we can do that too. So, that option is available. And until we meet again, later in the infinite universe. This is Frater Ralph signing off, wishing you a pleasant evening and a pleasant lifetime of spiritual discovery. Here's I Saw Three Ships from the Magnitude Christmas compilation. Thank you.